Hello and welcome to Digital Publishing 1. I am Myra Ship and I will be your professor for the rest of the semester. I am going to start off by showing you our first assignment, which is an editorial layout for your magazine. So in this semester, we will be designing a magazine that we will be constructing throughout the semester. So what I would like for you to do is be thinking about what topic you would like. So it could be anywhere from fashion to fitness to business, corporate, or it could be a hobby. It could be about photography. It could be about bicycling or race cars, you name it, whatever you want. You can choose that. I just ask you to just please keep it professional and make sure that it's something that you would be proud to show potentially a future employer. So if you have any questions about what topic you would like, you are more than welcome to contact me and ask me what you're thinking about, okay? So to start off, I did some research on a one-page layout. So these are 3 examples that I have found. So it's very straightforward using image and text. So the thing about us as designers is that we create a hierarchy of information. So there are certain things that are the text is a little bit bigger. We know where to draw people's attention. So, for instance, the title is larger than the rest of the text, and so on. It goes into a hierarchy of information. But the title doesn't always have to be at the top. Sometimes you can work around, and I think I always encourage my students to think outside the box, do something different. So also tying in colors, that's another thing, that you can use a color theme throughout your magazine, or you have a certain font that you like. So that could also be something that you want to think about that you're going to use throughout the magazine. And I'll show you how to create the consistency that you're going to need in later projects, that we're going to create style sheets, and that's going to allow you to not have to recreate and add all of those specifications that you've added to your text, because we're going to be dealing with a lot of text. Okay, so these are some samples. You can always do your own research and see what out there motivates you, okay, or inspires you. Okay, so when we want to start our file, there's a couple of things that we want to make sure that we click on to make sure that we have the proper file. A lot of it starts with how you start the file. Sometimes you're given a project and you have to know which program to use. So if you're giving a logo project, you want to use Illustrator. If you're given a project that's image-based, you want to use Photoshop. But for publishing, for creating magazines, editorials, newspapers, or even annual reports, then you want to use something like this. So the first thing you want to do is click on Create New, and mine automatically says pixels. We want to make sure that we click on inches because, this says iPad Pro. Make sure you're on print and letter, and the orientation is portrait. Okay, so mine automatically goes to picas, so we want to choose inches. And you want to click on facing pages, because eventually we're just going to keep on adding to this one file. So you eventually we're going to have pages that are going to face each other. So you want to click on that. Then you want to go into margins. Margins is very important because this really helps me. You want to have 0.25, a quarter of a margin, quarter of an inch of margin all around your pages, because that allows you enough space that within that space, that's where all your text is going to be, and it's safe from it being cut or bound or whatever. So you want to make sure that you always keep all of your text within that, and I will explain it a little bit further here. And then for bleed, we want to specify 0.125 inches, and that is for images or any design that goes outside of the page, and it will be cut off. I will explain that a little bit once we click on create. Okay, so this magenta colored line right here, that's your margin. So you don't want to have any text going into that space, okay? Try to keep your text within this area right here. Okay, and then for your canvas, your paper, so if you were to be printing this out, this is the white area is your actual paper, okay? Now this thin red line here, that is your bleed. And what that means is that if you had an image that went out to that, went outside of the page, really when it comes down to production, the cutter is going to cut just the size of the page, and anything outside of the page will be cut off. And you want to achieve that because, for instance, I have this magazine here, and you see how it goes all the way to the edge. It doesn't have a white border. Okay, so if you don't do that, if you just design through here, you're gonna have this white border. So just you want to have your images bleed out a little bit, just so you can have that crisp, you know, the way that you see most magazines is that the image goes off, goes all the way to the edge, and to achieve that you need to have set your bleeds. And really what this is for is to let a printer know your settings. This is probably hard for you to understand because it was for me. I had a really hard time understanding this, and I started applying to jobs for magazines and things like that, and they were asking me if I understood what a lot of the printing specifications were, like offset printing. I probably will go into that a little bit later. But I didn't, so I stopped what I was doing and I went and I worked for a print shop for about a year because I was making a lot of mistakes already at work. Like I wasn't paying attention to where things were going to be cut off, and sometimes there was this big design that I made that had to be folded, and I didn't pay attention to where the folding was going to be, and the text I messed it up, and it cost a lot of money. And so I just felt like I needed to take a step back and learn all of this. So that's why I'm teaching you how all of this works. And when you're ready to save it, that's also important because then the printer knows exactly what you're, how you have saved it, and if you did it correctly, they'll know. If not, they'll send it back because it has to be done a certain way, and I want to show you the right way. Okay. So now we're going to import some images and work with some text. So the first thing you want to do is go and look for some images. Nope, this one. Okay, so I love coffee. So I go to this website, Pexels. They have free images. They do want you to recognize their photographers. So if you have social media and you want to do that, that's fine. I like to go there, but you can. This is just a school project, so you know, just make sure that you're not using copywritten stuff and then you're going to blast it everywhere, because then it becomes a copyright issue. So what I like to do is when I search my photos, I like to choose, if I'm going to use the whole page, I like to choose things where I know that it has a lot of negative space. Like I like this one. You know, if you wanted to do something like that, that's good. This one is perfect. It has a lot of negative space. So, but I find this one a little bit more interesting. So I'm going to download this. I think there's a free download button. So it asks you to you know, just say thanks to the creators. And where does this go? I think it goes to my downloads. Okay, so then as far as the text, I put in, is coffee good for you? So I go into here and I'm going to copy this text. Okay, so now I go back to InDesign, and to import an image, you want to use a rectangle that has that X in the middle. It's called the rectangle frame tool. And I'm going to start from the bleed. That way because I'm going to use all of it. Or I could do it so many different ways. And then there's a shortcut. I don't know the long cut, but Command D, or if you're in Windows, is it Control D? So I go to Downloads and the latest one that I have, which is that one. Okay, and so it's a little big. I want to fit it in there correctly. So you go to Object, Fitting, Fill Frame Proportionately. Okay, there we go. So now we have this, right? You can do it if you grab the corner right here and let's say, oh, I want to make it smaller, that's not enough. That's just going to crop the picture. Okay, so you have to hold down Command or Control Shift and click and drag, and you can make it smaller. If for instance, if you wanted to do it that way and add some text here and, you know, all around, or if you want to keep it like that, that's fine. I think I'm going to keep it like that. And to add text, you get the type tool and you have to click and drag the space you want to put your title. So now I'm going to go to the text. What are the top benefits of coffee? And paste. So it pastes unformatted. So you want to click on that, and then over here on properties, whatever you're on, the properties are going to change. For instance, right now I'm on text, right? So if I click on this, the properties panel will change according to what tool I'm using. So right now I want the text. So I would like for it to be a little bit bigger than that. And the color, so you see how this is black right here? You can click on that. Actually, we need to make sure that the color is we need to make sure that the colors are CMYK. But for now, let's just, there's a lot of information I want to go through, but right now let's just choose something. Okay. And you can do the same thing with the text box. If you do Shift and Control or Command and hold that down and click and drag, you can change the sizing proportionately. So, okay. Of course, you can change the font. That's another thing that really changes things. So I don't have that many fonts yet on this this computer, but you can do that. Okay, if it's doing, if it's cutting off right here, that's under your paragraph. So, paragraph, if we go here, sorry, I gotta move me out of the way. Hyphenate. We click that off and it won't hyphenate like that because it can get really annoying. Okay, so basically just do that and be creative about your layout. This is just me doing something really quick just to show you how to get started, but the rest of the text, let me see. I mean, I could do little steps like they have little circles or whatever, but this text is all going to come in just in one big box, but you can bring each section out and I think I didn't copy a Y. Okay. You can choose different colors if you wanted to give your box a I would not mess with that, creating a border around this box, but you can create another box in the background. And fill. You don't have to choose that color. You can choose anything you want. Say okay. Right click, arrange, send to back, and then this background, right click, arrange, send to back. All right, and here's another tip. You see how you're seeing this right now, and you're like, oh, what does it look like without all the boxes? It just drives me crazy. How would it look like printed out? I don't think you even need to print this out. I mean, it does help when you print it out, especially because this is going to be a printed piece. But to see a good preview, here's a shortcut. Shift W. And that is a great preview. Okay, so that's how you can start. Just do your best. You have about a week or so to work on this, and if you have any questions, let me know. Okay, take care.